Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When I had a specific class in college here in the United States of America, a university, it was a political philosophy class. And in that class, I had the most fantastic professor I had in the United States of America, and his name was Arthur Meltzer. You find him. He was a professor. Let's put it this way. He was a professor. Let's put it this way. Fantastic. And in his class, his first question, in the first time when we met, he asked us to define what justice is, what we think justice is. And we rose our hands and we said, this is this. And he was, yes. All right. And one of the basic attributes, or how can you identify justice, is reciprocity. That means it's just if I give you something, you give me the same thing. If I give you love, you give me love. If I give you hate, you give me hate. That's only just. That would be equitable, however you want to call it. I don't like equity now because it was screwed up by these guys with their woke culture, which means totally different. But it's just. In this case, I have this article that I will discuss with you. It's about the United States of America planting military bases, bombers, nuclear weapons in other countries. Well, I have obviously the question to ask you: do the other countries place weapons and have military bases in the United States of America's territory? No. Now I go back to the definition of, or one of them, of what is just, reciprocity. So then, if there is no reciprocity, that might tell you that one is treating the other in an unjust way. Otherwise, would be no problem, Like, for instance, United States has about 70,000 troops, military troops, in Germany since 1945, which had more than 70 then, but it decreased, and they still have them over there after what? 70, 80 some years, right? Now, does Germany have military personnel, 70,000 in the United States? I strongly doubt that. This is just one example. Now, I will use this article to show you a little bit who's who, what's what, and what's going on a little bit with some new deployments of weapons. In this case, some nuclear bombers. This article comes from Reuters, and it's from today, October 30th, 2022. US plans to deploy B-52 bombers to Australia's north. ABC report. Sydney. The United States is planning to deploy up to 6 nuclear-capable B-52 bombers to an air base in northern Australia, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation ABC reported on Monday, a move which could further inflame tensions with China. Beijing. Remember, Beijing doesn't have military bases or nuclear bombers in, let's say Mexico or next to Australia somewhere. They just may cut a little deal with the Solomon Islands regarding some assistance here and there, and everybody was scared as if those guys put 50,000 nuclear weapons over there directed towards Australia, 1,000 miles away. That's the distance. But everybody should be okay with these bombers being on Australia, okay? And they already made a decision without asking or consulting China. If China would do that without telling these guys, how do you think these guys will take it as? Now, my problem is not with China and United States in this case. It's with United States planting bombers in Australia. The same thing they claim they will do in Europe. I don't know if they already did it or they plan on bringing, again, B-52s, nuclear-capable bombers in Europe. It seems like United States places its army everywhere and everybody accepts that. I wonder why. I know the answer. The answer is because the United States is the force of the good and there are those bad countries around, and we need to be defended. And the United States does that, which is defending us, because it has such a big heart and is such a good country, and its leader love democracy, freedom, and justice. That's the answer. Is it true? No. Anyway, let's move on. Dedicated facilities for the bombers will be set up at Australian Air Force remote Tyndall base, about 300 kilometers 190 miles south of Darwin, the capital of Australia's Northern Territory. ABC's Four Corners program reported, citing US documents. Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles office did not immediately respond to a request seeking comment. So they don't even bother. Why? Because they rule over us. The United States has drawn up detailed plans for what it calls a squadron operations facility for use during the Northern Territory dry season, an adjoining maintenance center, and a parking area for the B-52s, the ABC report said. The ability to deploy the long-range bombers to Australia sends a strong message to adversaries about Washington's ability to project lethal air power, the US Air Force was quoted as saying in the report. Australia's Northern Territory already hosts frequent military collaborations, but the collaborations are only on your territory, not on mine. We're going to have a party only at your house, and we're going to mess it and screw it and everything over there in your house, not mine. No. What does that tell you? Who's the boss? Are we friends? No, we're not friends. You are my subordinate. And I defend you. I defend you. That's why. I'm your friend by defending you. I don't have to defend you, actually. I don't need to be there. Really. How about my sphere of influence? You know, these guys, you know who I'm talking about, fought against and destroyed the Nazi sphere of influence, and replaced it with something much more minimal than the Germans were accused of wanting. You remember, when I was a kid at least, they say, well, Hitler wanted to rule the world. He was a little boy compared with these guys. These guys are way ahead of his wildest dreams. All right, who's ruling the world? So maybe that's why Great Britain did not declare war on Soviet Union when Soviet Union invaded Poland, but they decided to declare war only on Germany, because they knew Soviet Union is a dead horse at that time, even though they were communists, and Great Britain hated communism, and communism was the how do you call it, the enemy of capitalism. Instead, those guys attacked another capitalist country. How bad it was? They were closer in any way to Germany than they were with the Soviet Union. Maybe aside from some leaders that were riding a very high wave in both countries. Maybe that's the connection. And those leaders were not riding on the same high wave in Germany. Could that be a reason? No, I guess that's not. It's just me, I don't know, inventing stuff. And the same guys could have been riding very high in other country, in Zimbabwe. Remember that one? Yeah. All right, let's see here. Australia's Northern Territory already hosts frequent military collaborations with the United States. Thousands of US Marines rotate through the territory annually for training and joint exercises, first started under President Obama. Earlier this year, the US deployed 4 B-52 to its Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. Last year, the United States, Britain and Australia created a security deal that will provide Australia with the technology to deploy nuclear-powered submarines rivaling China. Putting B-52s in Australia that could reach and potentially attack mainland China will be a warning to Beijing as fears grow on an assault on Taiwan. All right, you got that? I'm glad the Australian people agree with that and they feel protected. But in the same time, when you do this, you become a main target for your adversaries as well. And I will remind you of a one statement that bad guy, Putin, know that guy? Vladimirovich, when he said, as a response to Romania and Poland accepting to have American missile systems on their territories, but not Romanian missiles on American territory again, Putin said, okay, well, if you're going to have those missiles on your territory, the defensive missiles, air, blah, 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 well, that means you're going to be a nuclear target for us. You haven't been so far because you were not that kind of threat. Now you are. That means in case a missile gets out of the United States of Romania, then we can blow you up with a nuclear weapon. So do Romanians care? Care, but they don't know where they're at, in what position they are. They are with their butts up in the air, ready to be smacked with a baseball bat. But that's what happens when you have leaders who are sold out to other guys, to other leaders who are themselves sold out, or, sellouts to interests. Well, very good. I like reciprocity, right? Yes. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.